on, people? I was asked to talk about this. This is a serious issue. Um, Something that a friend, online was asking me to really get into. And I just wanted to highlight the seriousness of this issue. You know, by actually talking about a story from February 11th, 2014. What's going on, Art? I appreciate you for coming by. Thank you for those folks that stop by. This is a serious live stream, so like I said, I'm about to get into some heavy stuff. So I understand if you don't really want to talk about this, I won't knock you for anything or whatnot. But basically, this was a story. Suicidal at 4. The young and mentally ill is struggling with child mental illness. Um, it's a problem. You know, I don't think it gets enough attention. In society. Especially here in America, Canada, Europe, Asia and stuff like that. It's not something that's really highlighted. So, the best way to really understand and let people know what's going on is to tell them stories of things that's happening. So there's a story, that I got from CNN. This is from 2014, February 11th. It says, a suicidal at 4, young and mentally ill. It says his mother is directed and matter of fact about her son over the phone. Severe anxiety, depression, voices and visions in his head. Suicidal at age 4. I too have a 4-year-old child and wonder is that even possible? Jennifer Christini is claimed and medical and ah, Jennifer Christini is calm and methodical. In our first phone conversation, she says it's from years of repeating these same symptoms and stories to doctors, teachers, neighbors, and friends. I imagine the reactions must be similar to mine. Dismay, sadness, and helplessness. But there's no symptoms, says Christini. It's hard to imagine how anyone can be sympathetic when the first time they meet 10-year-old Giovanni Christini, or Giovanni, as his family has called him since he was adopted at birth. He looks younger than 10, with cherry cheeks and freckles dotting his nose. His adult teeth are too large for his face, which break wildly. Okay, let me go over that part. I don't want to get too deep into that part. They're describing how the child looks. If anything, you can see how the child looks here. You see, that's how the child looks. But basically, they were saying that the child is facing visions and, he was suicidal at 4 years old. And this is something that's possible. I can give you the link inside there and let you read the story for yourself. But basically, this was a story of a kid who was 4 years old who was suicidal at 4. And this is something that people face. What's going on, Sunshine Cooper? Thank you. I appreciate you for coming through. Hey, June Gall. Appreciate you. Hey, Harris. What's going on, Molly Dolly? 1K. I was asked to talk about this particular subject, but I just decided to, like I said, relate some stories to this, about what was happening and whatnot. Basically, it was a story about a child, basically from 2014, who was saying that he heard voices, he is suicidal, he scared of stuffed animals. There was things that wasn't really addressed. People didn't really believe that the child was going through a particular situation, and it was a situation where the child was facing, mental illness, mental, blocks or depression or, just anxiety, just, fear, that came about and whatnot, what was going on. There was fire in his brain, that the child was saying, he was saying that he could hear voices. He was saying that he was depressed. He was saying that he was suicidal. This is something that really is an issue that people face. And like I said, I'm not trying to depress anybody. Forgive me if I'm not reading the story. 'Cause some of the stuff is sad. I don't want to go too in detail in the story. I'm not on the live stream to read uh, a whole news story out to you. I'm just here to kind of highlight that this is something that happens in the world. And like I said, forgive me, if I'm a little bit, yeah, June. Forgive me if I'm a little bit apprehensive in how to speak about this because like I said, this is a touchy issue and I don't have kids and but I know people with mental illness and I was asked to talk about this by somebody. So I'm trying to deal with this delicately. I'm trying to walk a tightrope, because this is something I want to give the proper respect. There are children out there, young kids, who have, mental illness. They have depression, they have rebellion, inside of them. They have, the things that they do outside of character, and sometimes we just look at it as, maybe the child is acting out. Mental disorders are hard to accept in children. Yes, they are, and I know people personally who've had, hey Molly, Dolly, I've known people who've had trouble accepting that, these things can happen in children. Sometimes we don't want to believe that our children or the people that we love are going through these particular things, and we kind of dismiss it, but it is something that's prevalent. It is something that's evident in society. It is something that happens. And, there's times when people, are depressed. There's times when people, do self-cut and don't cut themselves and don't take care of themselves. Or, there's times when they are isolated. There's times when, they are distant from everybody else. There's times when we, just there's times when we just look at the kids as if they're just acting out when sometimes they're crying out for help. You know, what up, man? To do as the children as well as they do. Yeah, nah. Thanks for coming through, Yas Poet. Like I said, this is a serious, serious live stream. I mean, I saying all my live streams are not serious and whatnot. I know some people may not want to talk about this, but I was asked to bring light to the situation, and I was just talking about it because, like I said, there was a story that I recognized. With kids, it's just to highlight that. Like I said, even children from its age as young as 4, can have these issues, and we not know how to deal with them. And it may be something that you don't want to accept, because who wants to say that somebody as young as a 4-year old could have a bipolar attitude, or be depressed or suicidal at the age of 4. But it definitely is possible. It definitely is something that happens. you know and I think it's something that shouldn't be just dismissed and thrown away, because I've seen other stories as well. Like I said, forgive me because I'm not really adept to this. I'm not really, I don't know if the best person to talk about this, but like I said, I was asked to speak on it. I was asked to just get people to think and consider the fact that, hey, if you have children and they're behaving oddly, and they're doing things that seems out of character, and they're doing things that are rebellious, and they're doing things that, just don't seem, like, it's normal. Sometimes it's not just your kid acting out. Sometimes, it is your child crying out for help and not knowing how, because, there's a stigmatism that comes with mental health in this country, around the world, just different places. And there's a lot of people who don't want to deal with it. There's a lot of people who don't know how to deal with it. There's a lot of people who don't see the signs. I was special needs Danny for 20 years. I understand. Yeah, June. I mean, maybe you could tell us some of the things that people, need to know when it comes to, people with special needs, or, children with special needs and stuff like that. More ears and whatnot, because there's a lot of us that don't understand. There's a lot of us that don't know. There's a lot of us that don't realize how serious this is, and how alone and isolated people feel, especially at a young age. How different, this can be for a child to be dealing with it, because we know about mental illness, in adults, in the elderly, stuff like that and whatnot, and teenagers, but what about the really young, and then even into the teens? Like I said, it's not an easy thing to deal with, but just for the parent and for the child themselves. And like I said, what I can do is just try to make awareness and get people to think, that you know every time a person is acting out doesn't mean, you know no, 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 no. I get you. I get you, Rise Poet. I know you wasn't. I know you wasn't trying to make a joke out of it, or whatever the case may be. I know you wasn't trying to make a joke, Rise Poet. I didn't take it that way. I mean, because this is not an easy subject for me to talk about. Because, like I said, um, I know how serious this is. I know how how much little attention is paid to this particular issue. Like I said, because when I looked at the story of the kid, you know, they asked the kid, does he hear voices? Was your stuffed animals talking to you? And there was the kid in the story that I was talking about. About the 4-year old who was suicidal. He was having trouble. Just sitting next to his stuffed animals. He was scared. He was afraid. The stuffed animals wasn't friendly with him. So what do you do when your child wakes up and tells you, that he's afraid? He has fire, in his head. He hears voices. He doesn't want to live anymore. I mean, that could be rough for a parent to deal with. And then growing up with a particular situation like that, what do you do? How do you manage? I mean, how do you sleep at night? How do you go through the day without worrying and whatnot? I mean, it's really a rough situation, and I tell people to think about that, and I tell people, to just, if you have children out there, to be aware of your children if they, behave differently. If you in a particular situation where you see something from them and it just doesn't seem right, you know, take time to pay attention to your children. If listen to your children, talk to your children. Don't dismiss them. Don't just consider, okay, maybe they're asking too many questions. Ravens, what's going on? I really don't know what to do for 4 year old. It says something like that. It's too young, and it really isn't an answer. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But I think the wrong answer, Ravenswolf, is just, to, you know, distance himself from the kid and whatnot, and there was a 911 operator that was, really good, with talking to the kid because that's where it was coming from, you know. The 911 operator was talking to the kid and basically got the kid to, calm down and whatnot, and really just express what he was saying and feeling, and just it. I think what happens with these situations is that we just need to take the time to listen. You need to take the time to show love. When it comes to mental health in this world, in this country, in this society, it's important to have, love for people, regardless of who they are, how they are, regardless of where they come from, the background and stuff like that, and what may be going on. Because I come into contact with people, who are mentally disabled and have things like that, and my experiences, what I've had with the people that are mentally disabled and whatnot, be it the young, old, in between, is to take the time out to really see them as a person, to care about them, no matter what, you know, I guess disability, be it mental, physical, otherwise, it's important, that if anything I can do. Unfortunately, it's hard to diagnose. They often can only go by the person's words. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the situation. But if you do see or hear somebody, trying to, call out for help, and you have kids, or if you just know somebody who's a child or a young person in your family, don't be so quick to dismiss them. I mean, I have nephews, I have nieces, I have, them, I talk to them, and when they say things to me, I really pay attention and I really listen, to where they're coming from. I really try to understand them. I really try to, like just, see if there's anything that's going on with them, see if anything that's bothering them, to really care and be concerned because you never know, when something is going to happen. You never know when something's going to trigger something. You never know when something may affect a child in a negative way. You never know when a child may become suicidal or depressed, or be feeling some kind of anxiety that's not being addressed, that's not being checked. And, I have some people that I've known personally, that have told me about situations where they've had children where their children were misdiagnosed and went through some troubles and stuff like that, and basically were crying out for help, and did the self-cutting and did the excessive drinking, and did the quote unquote rebelling and all that other stuff. And you realize that it is a cry for help. Sometimes it is just just screaming out, and nobody listening and nobody hearing. And that's something that's common among the people with mental health issues, is that there's a lot of people out there that's not willing to listen, or they'll look for a second and say, hey, that got nothing to do with me. That doesn't affect me. And then what happens when it is you? What happens when you are the one that's in that situation? What happens when you are the one that needs help? It will honestly be a very hard struggle if your child had to suffer from that from a young age, because it ain't going to stop. It's going on for life. Yeah, and I agree with you. And this is something, Ravens Wolf, that's gonna Ryan loves wolf. Ryan loves. I'm showing you Ravens wolf. Ryan loves wax. Sorry about that. Ryan loves wax. Wax and dabs. Yeah, this is something that is challenging, because how do you deal with that, with a 4 year old, and just dismissing and saying nothing's going on, because the story that I was reading, the kid was like 4 years old, but then he gets older and he's dealing with this stuff, and obviously this is something that you have to deal with for life, and I just was saying that just to highlight something that's going on. I probably have to put the link to the story in the comment section below. But sometimes a child overhears adults talking. Sometimes that is the case, But there are times when children are going through things. Seriously though, have a good night. Yeah. Peace to you, Yas Poet. Thank you for coming through. Like I said, this is not an easy thing to talk about, because it is a little bit uncomfortable as far as what's going on, because I've seen it happen, and I know that it's kind of crazy. They're used to it. They're advantaged when nothing is wrong. Well, I mean, June. That's one of the things that happens too. But that goes into another thing when a child is being manipulative and whatnot. I'm talking about a child that's actually really going through that. Or a situation where a child is mentally disabled. Maybe they're autistic or something. Maybe they have Down syndrome or something like that. What do you do in those particular situations? Do you just dismiss it? Do you just say it's nothing? Like I said, so it is a situation where it's touchy. it is a touchy situation, but you got to be careful. You got to tread lightly because there are people out there that need help, you know, and there's a lot of people out there who may not be able or equipped to deal with the situation, you know. So, you know, the question is, what do you want to do? How do you want to go about it? You know, when you're dealing with somebody, you know, let's say it was your family member, you know, let's say it was you know your child, you know, that was going through mental illness. How would you, you know, want to deal with that, or how could you deal with that? What if you woke up and then you know child said they're suicidal or they're going through something and they don't, you know, they don't know what to do. You know, you can't take a chance with kids. Yeah, I agree with you, Lulu. You can't really take a chance with kids, and sometimes you only have, you know, one chance to deal with it properly. You can't dismiss it. They can have feelings they don't understand. Exactly, June. I mean, that's what I say. You know, so it's touchy. It's touchy because you know at the same time, yeah, they could really, you know, be acting out. They could be trying to manipulate you, or it could be a situation where they're really going through something. You know, when they're young, when they're impressionable. You know, when they're not knowing the world. You know, ignorant or whatever the case to what's going on, you don't want to take that chance because that chance that you do, you know, ignore them and push it to the side and say that it's nothing and don't regard it as a problem, you know, could be the time where you lose your child, you know. I mean, by the grace of God, a lot of people have, you know, made it through those situations, but there's situations, you know, where they haven't. There's situations where people have lost their child, you know. There's situations where people have ignored the signs and you know they wind up not seeing what's going on, you know, people not paying attention, you know. And I say to the care you know takers or caregivers, you know, of the children or whatnot, sometimes paying attention is crucial, is key, you know, because I know there's situations where um you know, where you've been watching over kids and stuff like that, and you figure, okay, well, you know, that kid will be all right over there in the corner. I don't have to pay as much attention to him. And it could be like the one kid in New York. I forget the kid's name. There's an autistic kid that wasn't being watched over, and somehow he found himself, you know, dead in the river somewhere because, you know, like I said, maybe they weren't paying enough attention to him. And the parents and everybody was outraged trying to find the kid, but the last time they saw the kid, it was on camera walking out of the school, and I forget the story. I forget the story, but it was a real, you know, it was a real experience. You know, there's another thing that I got here. You know, like I said, it says 5 young people shared their experiences, their stories on mental illness. Let me see if I can pull this up and let them say it. This is one of the main factors that I don't want to have children. I really don't want any of them to deal with anything like this. The autism, Down syndrome, I've seen it all. Well, Raven loves waxing. I mean, I don't think that's a good reason not to have children, but I get it. Some people may not want to deal with that. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can play this for you. You know, and I'll let you see this because I don't want to it's 3 minutes long. It's just some kids talking about mental health and stuff that they go through. Let's see if you can. Well, I started to have mental health problems. I was being really badly bullied at school, and I became really exhausted. I wasn't sleeping. I was crying all the time. I started having really bad nightmares and then going through periods of not being able to sleep properly. I'd have thoughts of ending my life. My symptoms were being paranoid, just highly anxious about what was being said around me. Started getting disturbing thoughts. I went like almost on a downhill spiral, and I almost instantly became suicidal. I had depression, anxiety, and I also became completely agoraphobic. I was literally unable to go out the house, sometimes unable to move from room to room. It was my mum who said to me, I think you might have depression, and we went to the doctor and she diagnosed me with anxiety and depression. I was worrying what will my friends be thinking, how are they going to react when they see me, because they all know I was in a hospital being treated for mental health illness. A lot of my friends told me that around school loads of rumours were going around about me. And one particular person came up to a friend of mine and said, you can't be friends with her, she's a psycho. There's so much discrimination and stigma surrounding mental health that you don't know whether someone is going to say you're a freak or you're weird and I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I lost a lot of sort of relationships with family because they just, well, first of all, didn't believe me that I was ill, thought
teenagers just attention seeking, making it up. They tiptoed around me and things. They've just been nice if they'd asked me what my problems are and what my symptoms are. Because a lot of the time they didn't know.
I don't think some of them were too sure on how to approach me or how to speak to me to begin with, because it's just something that's not talked about a lot.
If I was going back to give myself advice, I'd tell myself to talk, to open up, to let my family in, to tell them what's wrong with me.
The main thing for young people is that they need to be educated about what mental health is. It needs to be spoken about in schools. Listening and talking and having open, honest conversations is always the first step.
All my friends were just like, thank you so much for finally telling us, and we all had a good chat about it, and it was really, really nice.
I'm really glad my friends and family did come to visit me. It played a big part in my recovery.
I used to have to go everywhere with my mum and couldn't leave her side even like a year later. And I just turned around to her one day and said, I'm going to go home by myself now.
Day-to-day symptoms are still a struggle, but I feel like I'm better equipped to deal with them now.
Everyone takes time to recover from illness, whether it's a mental illness or a physical illness, and shouldn't be treated any different for either way.
I'm still me. Whether or not I have anxiety and depression, that doesn't change who I am.
I think recovery is definitely achievable, whoever you are, or however bad your illness is. Just a matter of time, really. Some people don't want to speak about it because of the taboo and because of cultural background. But I think that if we made this an open subject and something that is asked generally, then we can move forward.
Yeah, I think that's it though. But hopefully I don't get hopefully I don't get the strike, but whatever. I mean, like I said, this is a conversation that I wanted to have. This is something that I just wanted to play and whatnot. And I thought that was interesting. I thought the kids in there, I went through the same problem with no help. It was so hard. Yeah, yeah, I mean, but it's like the kids were saying in this video, it's important to have dialogue. It's important to be educated. It's important to have awareness. I know someone that almost lost a child to depression. It affects the whole family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is something that's really important to talk about. Don't let the stigma talking about to stop you from actually, becoming educated and getting help and, looking at young people that go through this type of stuff and pay attention to your children. Pay attention to, the people that you love, that you care about, that, are calling out to you. They weren't aware of the signs of depression. Yeah. But, it's important to be aware of the signs of depression, just, anxiety, just, different things that people face, PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, be aware of these things, educate yourself. I mean, we live in an information age where, people, just, have this stuff at their fingertips, where you could Google something. You could Google, the signs of depression. You could Google the signs of anxiety. You could Google suicidal thoughts and, like what people do and some of the things people say and, how this translates and transpires and whatnot. You know, um, it's important. It's important not to make this taboo, as the children were saying or the teenagers were saying in this video, and it becomes taboo when it comes to mental illness and stuff like that that we face and whatnot. It's just it's just that you shouldn't let mental illness be sort of a thing where we discriminate against on people because they're different. And that's just one of those things that just I just maybe I could shed a little bit of light on. Maybe I could get people to think and just get people to be aware of what's going on with that and whatnot. Like I said, I know my presentation isn't the greatest, but like I said, I was asked to talk about it, and I think it's something that's important to talk about. And I just I don't know, maybe it'll help somebody. Maybe this will help somebody, especially if I don't get a strike or nothing like that. But I don't know. This is just my little 2 cents or my little part to it, and not to make it about me or whatever the case may be. Like I said, because I am walking a tightrope with this, and this is not about me. This is about the folks that face this and whatnot. And I could only imagine what people go through, when it comes to the particular issue of mental illness, and with the youth. Their behavior can be looked at as being rebellious, but it can actually be a cry for help. Yeah, I agree with you, Lulu. Love you. It can be a cry for help. And when it comes to the kids, pay attention to your children. Don't just dismiss your children because you're tired. Don't just dismiss your children because you're working, because you're, trying to live your life. Your child could be calling out to help for help. And sometimes it's not even a mental illness thing. Sometimes your children just need love. Sometimes the signs can be so subtle. Yes, they can. It could be the smallest things. It could be isolationism. It could be, anorexia that comes on because of it. It could be, just a shutting down, you know, of the person. I mean, because young people have feelings too. Young people have thoughts. They have bad days as well. We assume just because they don't have any jobs and just because they ain't got to get up and go through the grind every day, they don't go through stuff. Some children are brought up in broken homes. Some children have been molested and things have happened to them, and they've been through horrific situations, or maybe they have lost loved ones and stuff like that. Around certain people, I learned to act normal. Exactly. And I think a lot of us have had that. We just gotta act normal, or you know be different, or whatever the case may be. When sometimes you really need people to pay attention. When it comes down to it, you got two options to face it for life and always believe or give up and start new. Sometimes it's just not worth the strain on your mind. Well, listen, I tell you this, Ryan, it's a situation where either way, whatever is out there, whatever you're going through, is not just going to go away, whether you choose to face it or you choose not to face it. Even now, people have no idea how shy I am or how things in my mind. Yeah, well, a lot, I mean, it is a situation where if you can find people, who are willing to, you know, talk to you and understand and not be judgmental and discriminate against you. It's good to find those people. You don't have to have a whole bunch of people that care, but enough people that care. But I say to those parents out there who have children, don't be so quick to dismiss your children's behavior as something that's rebellious, or just counterculture, or just kids being kids. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's kids doing stupid, silly things. Sometimes it's not. Big guys, thank you. Depression is a chemical imbalance. Telling people that they have no reason to be sad, you can lift yourself up, is a danger. No one should make any statements on depression, anxiety like that. You can lift yourself up, is a danger. Well, yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree, big guys. I mean, because what does that mean when you say to somebody you can just lift yourself up? You need help. If I fall down on the floor and I don't know how to get up and know how to lift myself up, how am I gonna just lift myself up and just get up? It is a situation where sometimes we need help. Did I catch you at the end of your live again? Well, it depends, Matthew Drake. If anybody has any questions, anything to add to this live stream, I'm actually trying to redeem the live stream. I think I had a couple of good moments in here. I mean, I'm walking a tightrope because, like I said, this is not my forte when it comes to mental health and mental illness, but I'm the type of person that said I'm willing to talk about anything, any subject, no matter how deep it is. Someone with depression can't just snap out of it. I agree with you, Lulu. Love you. You can't just snap out of depression. No, you can't. Um, it's a situation where people do need help. They see themselves as more of a failure than when they can't. I have first knowledge around 30 years. Well, no, I definitely believe you, big guys, and that was a big statement you made in there. It is it's crazy. It's crazy that you say that because, like I said, it's depression is a monster, man. It's a beast. It's a beast, man. You can't just tell nobody with depression, just snap out of it and lift yourself up. That's almost like a comedy routine over there. That's suicide right there. You tap them on the shoulder, you be okay. Just go in the corner and cry it out and shake it off, and next thing you know, they're dead. So it's a situation where you wanna really be there for that person to help them through it. It's crazy, man. Like I said, depression, anxiety, mental illnesses, chemical imbalances is a monster because so many things can't be expressed. You can't diagnose these things, as June was saying. Sometimes all you have is a person's words. All a person can do is tell you that they're going through something. All a person can tell you is how they feel. You can't really see it. You can't do a test. You can't just assume, and through the power of ESP, I'm in your mind. I could feel you. I could go through it with you. No, sometimes a person is just going through something, and all you can all you can do is just be there with them. Still, what you first learn. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, Ryan, but you have to explain. But it is a situation when it comes to mental illness and stuff like that. Sometimes the best thing you can do um, is be there for a person. Is just care. Just give a damn about a person's life. I think too many times when people are going through stuff and they're crying out for help, we as people kind of ignore them. Depression is a chemical imbalance. It is mental. It is still a mental issue. Other traumas are kind of rise under different areas. Yeah, no, I agree with that as well, big guys. Man, sometimes I feel like when I'm looking out the window out of a box. Wait, let me say that again. Sometimes I feel like a mom looking for the window out of a box. Well, that's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. You just trapped in a box looking out and nobody's seeing you and nobody's hearing you. And yeah, no, that's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. I mean, because, mental health is just, mental illness, mental health, mental illness is just, it's not enough put into it. Could you scroll up and read what I wrote above that? Okay, I could see what I first learned. Eventually, in the future, I'd like to see you talk about high school pressure and the fact that it really will define your friends. You know, hold on. It really will define your friends. Excuse me. It really will define your friends, who you are, and what you think, even if you think it's bad. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. You're talking about peer pressure because somebody had to say something to get an email. I'm glad I caught this. All right, now, big guys, thank you for coming by. I appreciate your comments. Thank you for leaving those great insights that you left. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I could definitely talk about that. Ryan loves waxing. I could definitely. The box is invisible, but each of us has our own unseen issues. Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. That's almost poetic, Matthew Drake. Wow, wow, man. I could write a poem there, man. You sounded like a poet over there. Your mind in the box, with unseen issues. Wow, that's deep. That's deep, man. I'm gonna have to steal that from you, man. And, you know, I call it that title of the poem, Unseen Issues, mind in a box. That's deep. That's deep, man. That's deep. I like that. I like that. I like that. What's up, June? I'll send you a link from Harvard. Okay. Put it in the chat. One of the chats. Or you could just email me at seeker.dreamer.believer@gmail.com. But like I said, this is a really serious issue, a really touchy issue because a lot of people. Let's just be real. If we're gonna be real on the live stream, a lot of people just don't want to deal with this issue. A lot of people don't want to take the time out because this takes a lot of energy. This takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a lot of love. That people may lack, a lot of empathy that people may not want to have. You may not want to deal with this because, like I said, this isn't the exciting, sexy stuff to talk about. This isn't the high level thinking stuff. This is the nitty gritty grime stuff. This is you got to cry it out and things get broken in the house and stuff like that. Um, Thank you. I don't need to explain my usual hangouts. I get tired of being overlooked. So I can't. Well, no, I don't. I don't overlook you, Matthew Drake. I don't overlook anybody in here, even the trolls. Unfortunately, send it to your YouTube messages. Okay. I gotta see if I can find my YouTube messages. June, but definitely. Or you can hit me on Twitter at melmelx365. That's one of the reasons why I'd rather hide when someone sends the live panel and find out and shut out don't come up. Listen, it's like this Matthew Break, Matthew Drake. Sorry about that, Matthew Break. I'm stuttering myself. Nah, listen, we all have things, man. We all got insecurities and stuff like that. Some of us are brave enough to face it and talk about it, which I appreciate you for coming out here and talking about it. Some of us you can't. Some of us like to hide it or, act normal, on particular situations and whatnot. You know, um, we do hide things. I mean, I have things that I hide as well. I have my issues and insecurities. We all have some that we fight with, some demons or whatever the case that we go through. Each and every day. So, I just thank you for being brave enough to share it. Because people like to act like they don't have issues. Everybody got an issue with something. If it's not mental, it's physical, or sometimes it's a financial issue. You need some money somewhere, but that's another story, though. Like I said, we can get too deep into that. Like I said, that's a whole other live stream. But yeah, nah, man. There's so many people out there, man, that's just not being heard. There's so many people out there that just feel alone. There's so many people out there that feel like that nobody cares. There's so many people out there that's just lacking somebody to just to, give them a hug. I think social media poisons children. Yeah, it can. It can because one of the things, Lulu, with that is that if you don't have guidance, if you don't have direction, send it to your Twitter message. I will check it out, June, after I get off this live stream. I will definitely check it out. I think social media can definitely poison children because back when all of us in the chat, I guess I can assume all of us are old enough to where we came up at a time where we didn't have social media when we were 5 and 6, or 12 and 13. It came for me in the late teens, but basically I had a whole childhood before I came into social media. So I kind of know what it was to play outside. I kind of know what it was to face up a bully. I kind of know what it was to just walk away. We thug it out, we tough it out, and then we keep it moving. But nowadays you can be bullied online, and have so many negative things said to you, and so many negative things that you can find online, which is scary. So it's a situation where there has to be a buffer. There has to be more parental guidance as it pertains to social media. Yeah, this older woman and sisters live stream. She wanted me to help. What else? Attention. It's just live. Yeah, be careful out there, Matthew Drake. Research suggests that depression doesn't spring from simply having too much or too little of a certain brain chemical. That's interesting. I don't have social media growing up. I played outside with friends. Yeah, that's true, Lou. Love you. I mean, sometimes it's a disadvantage. That is a sentence from Harvard. Nah, I gotta definitely check out that research, June. I appreciate you for sending it. I definitely will. So like I said, this is a big issue. This is really a really big issue, and it's not going away and disappearing just because people don't want to deal with it. But the mentally ill out there are ignored. Are disregarded, and I'm guilty of that too. In past times and different situations, I've done that. I had to be educated. I had to be made aware and brought to the realization that people struggle with different things, all kind of disabilities. Be it mental, be it mental, be it physical. Sorry about that. Be it spiritual things, moral, different things that people go through and whatnot. So it's a deep thing. It's a deep thing. And I think we forget to look at each other and see each other for human beings, being human beings and stuff like that. And when you just don't see the human experience. When I came along, and they said, "Oh wow, you're going to 97 in MySpace and all that." Now you trying to make me feel old out here, Matthew. Like I said, you're going a little too far. I don't care. It's hard to find help for depression if you're a young adult. Yeah, well, it can be hard to find help for depression even if you're an adult. Because sometimes people just don't want to deal with it. It's a stigma behind it. 13 years then now I'm on broadband. That's funny. 13 years later on broadband. Yeah, but I can understand that. Definitely, Lulu. It is a stigmatism. It's taboo. Who wants to talk about mental health? The doctor's answer is meds with no therapy. Yeah, I could believe that. I could definitely believe that, especially if therapy is expensive. And then let's say you're in a country where that's not really practiced or seen as something that's an issue like that. Then now you have to go out of the state, out of the country, to specialized places where they're going to overcharge you just to have therapy, and people to deal with this and clinically diagnose something that may be misdiagnosed. And now you have a situation where you had your child on all kind of medications that were just basically harming their body, and doing things and putting side effects to their mind. Like, people don't understand certain was it certain psychotropic drugs, if that's what they call them. There's certain drugs that treat depression and anxiety, which the side effects are suicidal thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. Me, Jeff, um, my Spanish is not what it used to be. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. But I know somebody's saying something to me in Spanish. Uh, what is the content? Sounds like you're saying, that's all good. It's all good. Sound like you asking me about the content though. Um, no estaya content. Oh, okay. Well, it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, nah, what I'm talking about here is just mental health. Talking about mental health here, just talking about mental illness in children and stuff like that, and how serious it is and how overlooked it can be. I watched a video where a young girl was prescribed X4, and the side effect was suicidal attempts many times. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. My boss is unhappy with you, is what I said. Um, oh, oh, you talking about pink. Okay, I know what this is. Oh, tell me why they take the meds and give us this or something fine. That's crazy. Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. I mean, it's crazy. He's not your boss. Okay. Um, I don't know who your boss is then. You got me, Paul Delina. I don't know any Paul, but I refuse any of the meds. Um, it's kind of crazy. I mean, because if you talk about medical misdiagnosis, those things happen so often, and it's kind of crazy. You got to be careful because they'll subscribe something to you that can kill you. It's just wild. It's a wild scene. It's a wild situation. It's like, what do you do? In those particular situations where you can't properly diagnose the situation. The only thing you have that's in your favor, um, it is what it is. I'm understandable. I don't have any issues with anybody. Right now, I'm online talking about mental illness, so I'm not trying to throw no hate or no shade towards anybody. Right now, that's what it is. It's all good. Love and peace to everybody. I know who I am and how these meds are very different and not. You know what I mean? We take them 10 to 40 times. Yeah, a lot. So yeah, damage is done. Don Pablo is very intimidating. Funny. That's funny, Don Pablo. Mm. But yeah, for the most part, what am I doing? Oh, okay, sorry about that. I was distracted by something. Um, Some people don't have the option to refuse meds. It's a chemical imbalance. My experience with someone. Well, sometimes people don't have the option to refuse that. Uh, nah, I'm not the cartel type. Not the cartel type. I kind of do my own thing. Kind of do my own thing, but I appreciate the offer. Yeah, nah, but in this situation, yeah, Lulu, it's like that. Some people don't have the option to um really decide whether or not they're gonna take meds or not. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's really crazy how that particular situation go. Volume is the reason why I study is gonna all the time, and the reason of the head when it's doing last year. Wow, wow, that's deep. Thanks for sharing that, Matthew. Though, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I mean, there's so many drugs and things that have side effects on you, even the food. You know, ah, I'm already a king. I remember La Quica. My mother already told me that I'm the richest man in Brooklyn, but I appreciate that. If you have a good doctor to go to work with them, they can be the right balance. Yeah, if you have the good doctor and whatnot, but who wants to be on, medical drugs, psychotropics, and all that stuff for the rest of their life? True friends will accept you as you are. I do. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Get out of the projects up to the Trump Tower. That's interesting. Nah, I'm good on the Trump Tower. I pass on the Trump Tower. I told AJ I had to think about the panel. That's why. Well, listen, I'll tell you this, Matthew Drake. No disrespect to AJ, anybody else, nothing like that. You do what you feel comfortable with. Like I said, you know, um, don't let yourself feel pressured into doing something that you may not want to do. There's a lot of people who come on YouTube who just participate in the panels. There's a lot of people who come on here and you know, you know, they just troll. Like I said, there's people that just come and just give good comments. Like I said, you can be a moderator and stuff like that. Like I said, not everybody feels comfortable on camera. Not everybody wants to put their voice out there. You participate in the way that you feel comfortable. Participate. That's really all I can tell anybody when it comes to online panels and stuff like that or whatever's going on. If anybody will accept you, they'll accept you for that and those merits. The fact that hey, you are who you are, and I have people that come to my community that you know we never probably gonna get up on a panel together, but that's what it is. Yeah. Um, long live Pablo Escobar. That's funny. Yeah, this is a good time. Thank you, Lulu. But you suggested it. Yeah, I stay on my video camera viewer so I can catch myself quickly before I study a disease. And listen, I mean, Matthew, whatever you feel comfortable with, man. You don't have to push yourself or rush yourself out there. There's people who come on YouTube and interact and get into chats or go into the private chats. Long live coffee. There you go. Who never get up on the panel and live streams and stuff like that. Baby Ari, okay, Baby Ari. I don't know if that's somebody else, but Baby Ari, thank you. What's going on? I appreciate you. My rats love you. Your rats love me. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. I seen your ferret video. I'm not, I love the ferrets from a distance. I can't mess with them up close. I gotta be train them from young, from baby ferrets. I'm afraid of little ferrets and rats and stuff like that. Especially like a New York City rat, they might jump out of somewhere. Get me now. I don't know. You know, baby Ari. It's all good. Um, about stream more positive vibes. Love it. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I try to keep it positive vibes. I try to. Hopefully, I don't get no strikes, no copyright strikes from this one. You know, I kept bumping into Ari in chats in the past few weeks. I'll see your comments. If I live closer, I would go for coffee with the ferrets. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. You know, oh man. That would make a good video, seeing Mel jump around with ferrets and whatnot. You see me jumping on me, you watch me, I'll be like moving around real quick or something like Usain Bolt with the ferrets. You want to see me move real quick, throw a ferret somewhere, I might jump around or whatnot. I don't know. Ooh. Oh, oh my God. Yeah, Mel loves you back. Yeah, yes it is, baby. Oh, sound like you got a conversation going there, baby Ari, and Laquika. Yeah, I think it is Laquika if I don't got it. Yeah, bless you, Lulu, love you, bless you, bless you, bless you, blessings and peace to you. I don't know, I didn't know how I would do this because I was trying to figure out, like I said, how do I talk about this, and I don't know. It's just it's a serious subject, and like I said, hopefully I did it some justice. I'm not somebody, who knows about this clinically or whatever the case may be. But like I said, this is where I was just with it and whatnot. And I didn't want to forget about it, because I know Lulu definitely wanted me to talk about this, and it was something that we connect with and talked about, briefly in other channels. Ferrets still aren't legal in the states here, but other states they are likely. Nothing, hold on, let me say nothing we can do to enforce them not to have them as pets. Still aren't legal. I didn't know ferrets wasn't legal. Wait, what are we talking about? Actually, we were talking about mental illness in the youth, and then we got off into other things. Long live Pablo Escobar, and it's all kind of stuff like that. Oh wow, 12K. I hear that. So we were talking about. It started off with mental health, and then it got into a whole bunch of other things and whatnot. Just we kind of this is the kill back, the kickback section of the live stream, the kill back. No, I'm not killing anybody. You can tell I'm tired. I'm getting a little loopy right here now. What I'm saying, the war on drugs is that a decent? Well, I don't know what to say about the war on drugs, but yeah, I got a ferret a few weeks ago. It's my cousin's though. Oh, you must not live in the states if you got a ferret. I don't know if you live in the states. Because like Matthew Drake was saying, I didn't even know ferrets was illegal in the states. But like I said, long live the ferret. I mean they're cute. You're in Reno. Oh wow, in Reno. Yeah, into Colombians. Oh my God. I actually worked with a Colombian dude. Pretty cool guy. Pretty cool guy. Colombians are nothing to play with. I'll tell you that much. Colombians are really nobody to play with. You find yourself in some strange situations. But like I said, we're gonna leave it at that. We shout out to all my Colombians out there. Saying Viva Colombia. Saying. I could imagine. I could imagine. Pink Gringo. Oh my God, they got a new Gringo movie coming out. It's all good. Most of us are Colombians. Oh, I don't want no problems with the Colombians, man. You might not see Mel on the live stream no more. If you want to see something, accused West Louis and Cargo's pet videos. Yeah, nah, Cargo 619s, uh, never talked to one. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, Colombians are very interesting. They're very interesting people. Mm, mm. People you do not want to have issues with. I can tell you that. Not in person. Maybe online, but not in person. Mm. Shout out to Colombia though. Shout out to Colombia. Yeah, we don't have anything against any race, but only corrupt government and police here. Well, I can't. Yeah, Viva la Colombia. Yeah, you go. Gotta love Colombians. They have good coffee blends. Well, they got a lot more than coffee going on out there. Woo, we got a lot more than coffee going on in Colombia. We'll leave it at that. It's not as strong as it used to be, but it's enough. It's enough. It's enough. Like I said, I'll take some coffee though. I can live after a cup of coffee. Yeah, so true about the coffee. I can live after a cup of Colombian coffee. Like I said, who knows, man? Like I said, one of these days I hope to visit Colombia. Beautiful place, beautiful people. I just don't want to get into anything. Come get some coffee. That's funny. My mind. Oh wow. Okay. Cool. 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 That'd be interesting though to have Colombian coffee made from an actual Colombian in Colombia. That'd be interesting because we just get the coffee cans and all that. I don't know if any real Colombians made it. I don't know if it was made in a factory in China and shipped through Colombia. You know, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Like I said, I don't even know how we got from mental health to coffee, but this is how we got to it. Like I said, this is what is it? It's 1 a.m. in the morning. This is how it is. Let's go to Cuba. I want to see all the old cars from the embargo. You know, I'll be talking. Oh wow. Okay. I gotta see. I gotta see this whole other level. They got some other conversations. People making love connections in the chat. I feel like a matchmaker. Anybody who's old enough to know Chuck Woolery or something like that. I feel like this is what's that old show? The Love Connection. I feel like I just made a connection. Somebody need to cut Mel a check. it's, it's all good. Is it coffee part of mental health, especially first in the morning? Yes, June. Yes, it is. Coffee is a part of mental health. You know, I don't know what is the best coffee in the world. Does anybody know? Maybe somebody knows what the best coffee in the world is. It's not Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. Right now, Starbucks is under fire. If anybody heard about the thing that happened in Philly with the two black men, well, boss Boga, he's bad things, but I love him. Respect him. Colombia is amazing. Listen. Hopefully, I get to visit. Your boss lives in a bodega. Wow. Okay. Listen. Hopefully, I get to visit Colombia. I don't want to get shot out there. I never understood why they had these old cars till the news, because they had to fix them. Yeah. Oh wow. Um. Saw on the news. I don't know if you should visit my boss though. No, I'm not trying to visit anybody's boss. If I come out to Colombia, I gotta come out there. Um, if I come out there, I gotta come out there, with some protection. We're gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I would like to visit the country and whatnot. I mean, I've had some people that went out to Colombia and whatnot, and they told me some stories. Can't stand Starbucks or other fast food coffee. Dunkin' Donuts is respectable. I have some Dunkin' Donuts coffee in the next room. They're respectable. Get Kanye to bodyguard me. Yeah, if I got Kanye to bodyguard me, that would make some sense. You know, I could say Jesus walks with me. Jesus walks with me. Anyway, I love Tim Hortons coffee here in Canada. I have actually had Tim Hortons coffee. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's not just you could do worse. I'm not mad at it and whatnot. I mean, I like my coffee with the creamer though. If I'm gonna drink black coffee, that means I'm just trying to wake up. I don't know if anybody does black coffee, no sugar, no creamer, just like you know, all right. Uh, wow, that's funny. My comment was removed. Why was your comment removed? I don't know. I actually visit Escobar's grave daily. That's interesting. I, I I don't know what to say to that. Can you like add me first? Oh, yeah, you're having another conversation there. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Baby Ari. I was gonna say, what's the next no free donuts for police? What? Nah, I guess I don't know. Police pay for donuts. There's no mods in here. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't move your comments. I mean, only moderator I guess right now in here is me. I'm male slash moderator slash host slash entertainer slash store provoker slash everything. Donuts sound good right now. Yeah, they do sound good. I got bagels though, and I got a cupcake. I've been saving this cupcake. I'm gonna eat this cupcake. I don't know, or whatever. All right, you gotta fight for what you want in life. Wow. I don't know if what Ari wants right now is donuts, but it's cool. It's all good. I'm intrigued by Ari and like Wika conversation, but y'all gonna have your own conversation off on the side. I'm just glad that I could be here to facilitate that conversation. Just remember, I just want to DM. I hear that. I hear that. Got a DM. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Mm. DM messages. Like I said, I wish some beautiful women would DM me. I need some DMs from a beautiful, attractive woman somewhere. Anyway, um, I swear you don't get one. That's funny. That's funny. You're right. They should probably remove it because I said it instead of police. Oh no, no, no. Nobody removed anything. Nobody. I don't think I removed your comments or whatever the case may be. I can literally sit here and listen to me all day. I appreciate you, baby Ari. I don't want to get like quick and mad though. And thank you for listening to the sounds of my voice and whatnot. Like I said, you won't listen to me all. That won't be here all day. Uh, I'm not actually like I gotta trust you. Um, well, you don't really have to trust me, but I get you. I get you. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Like I said, whether or not you trust me is whether or not you trust me. I'm an undercover. I don't know what you're an undercover Melmo. It was my comment was never posted. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's probably what it was. You're an undercover. I don't know if you're undercover what, but I'm gonna leave that alone. There's a lot of people undercover at something here on YouTube, and that's fine. I don't judge you. Whatever you are undercover as, just know that Mel is clean. You know, I'm as pure as white driven snow. You know, as a man named Dark Matter once said, pure as freshly driven white snow. Me too. I love being undercover my flannel sheets. That's funny. I'm gonna be undercover if you want to say that. I'm gonna be undercover my Batman sheets soon. And yes, I do sleep on the Batman sheets because I am Batman. Pink clouds. I mean, you could be pink. I don't know. See you soon. It is what it is. I don't know who you're seeing. How are you gonna say you're gonna talk to me later? Then you're not gonna DM me. That's interesting. Well, you should DM that lady, that young lady. For fact, that's what's going on. DM that person. Like I said, just don't let me down. Don't let me down. DM this young lady or the person that's there. Waiting for that DM. Like I said, I need some beautiful women out there, wherever you are. You beautiful women that just want to talk to Mel Mel, just want to hear the sound of my voice or the sound of me hitting the keys. Just DM me. In the summer, satin sheets are not easy. There you go. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Matthew. I can't big beautiful women incoming. I don't discriminate. I proliferate. What I'm saying, hey, listen, 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 listen. It's all good. More cushion for the pushing, more fluffing for the loving. Like I said, I love all my women. I wish I had enough, time and love for you all. All the women wear flannel. That's there you go. Listen, I'm not, you know, I don't discriminate. I love women that wear flannel. Mrs. Potato Head. Yeah, there you go. Mr. Potato Head looking for Mr. Potato Head. They make some little potato heads, they put them out there into the world, and it's the potato family. That's an inside joke for people that don't know that, For folks that don't know that, I was dubbed by some trolls as Andy Potato Head. So now I'm Andy Potato Head looking for Mrs. Potato Head. You know, um, so that's what it is. But it's all good. Yeah, but woman told me I say no problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I embrace it all. I embrace it all. One of the reasons why I made so many friends over the years, or so many friends with people that are unlikely, because people were so surprised at how easily or how much I can take a joke. I can really take a joke. People were surprised. I remember I had one guy who he called me gay, and he called me crazy, stupid, all kind of things he called me. And me and him actually became good friends because he came over to me one time and he said, Mel, he said, you can actually take a joke. And I told him, I said, look, if you can't take a joke, then we're gonna be sitting on the side crying all the time. I don't know about Pinky. I don't know. Saying that, yeah, Pinky and the squad always try to thwart your good intentions. Well, listen, the people that thwart my good intentions more than anybody, which in a good way, is Dark Matter and Lynn. Listen, it's all good. Pink Clouds, whoever, Dark Matter and Lynn Denton, they get me all the time. Like I said, I've had live streams where they came in there and it's just hashtag pie everywhere. It's a sexy, quasi sexy party. But I'm all good. I can take a good joke. I mean, I appreciate good jokes. My thing is, if I'm going to be trolled, if I'm going to be taken off or distracted, at least let it be funny. At least let people get something out of it. Yeah, like we could no pink clouds or whoever's really talking to me. It's all good. Baby Ari is still there. Then again, I like cotton candy. I'm partial to cotton candy. Not a big fan of it. Not the biggest fan, but you know how it happens. Like I said, somebody gonna give me some free cotton candy. Why not? If I could eat some cotton candy with baby Ari, why not? I'll do that too. And I've reached an hour in my live stream. I didn't expect this live stream to go an hour. I got to the 20-minute mark, and my famous last words is I only expected to go 20 minutes. Famous last words. But let's go get serious for a second. Back to the serious part of the live stream. The serious part of the live stream is just basically understanding that mental health issues, are a serious thing, for anybody, regardless of your age, but specifically with children, because they don't always know how to express themselves. They always don't have an adult that's willing to hear them. They get dismissed. They get told it's not important. They get, looked down upon. They get teased. They get bullied. They get, beat up. All kind of stuff, happens. They get told that they're crazy. They get told to lift themselves up or figure it out or whatever the case may be. And it could lead to adverse effects, to them, really having stigmatisms for life and being misdiagnosed, or, even, suicidal situations come up like that. And, that's not something that we want. We don't want situations where people, you know, feel like they have to commit suicide, because of any mental illness and things that they're going through, or, any depression that they may be facing. So I tell people out there, just to pay attention to your family members. Pay attention to your children. Pay attention to all your children, even if not they're your children. Any children, any young people that you're around. You know what I'm saying? Then tell another adult is to stop making things up. Yeah, yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's not so much to preach. It's just to say, people go through stuff, and young people go through things as well. So we don't want to just dismiss it because it's something we don't understand. And we as adults sometimes can get so far removed and so into ourselves that we fail to realize and fail to see that these children out there need help. And especially those people that are going through mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, just, stressful situations, because kids face stress too. It's important to remember that these young people have lives. These young people won't always be young. If they're fortunate enough to make it and survive these situations, then they will become adults, teenagers first and then adults and, elderly folks and stuff like that. So the thing is to try not to make these people feel stigmatized and discriminated against just because, we may not understand, or maybe something a little too deep for us, or you may be ashamed, or whatever the case may be. Because those kids are fighting to live a normal life, are fighting just to be accepted, are fighting just to make sense of it all. And it's like Lulu said, the kids need support. And a lot of times, these kids don't get the support that they, just, justly deserve, in this society, in this world. It's easy to feel alone with our smartphones and our tablets and our TVs and smart TVs and, digital situations or whatever, and our VR glasses. But people still need support. Kids still need support. They still need support beyond just excuse me, texting and videos and live chats. They need real live people who are concerned and care and are attentive to their needs and the things that they're facing and the stuff that's going on. You have 4-year-old children, you have 16-year-old kids, you have 20-year-olds going into adulthood and stuff like that. And you have people just trying to understand, young people just trying to understand life. And when they have the mental illness component to it, it makes it just that much harder. Imagine somebody, going through mental illness, dealing with puberty at the same time, and developing and stuff like that. And, these are things that, just really people wrestle with. So, beware that, people are facing a tough fight. And even when it comes to mental illness, I call it that pink neon side. Other than someone saying, other than someone saying disabled, for example, what if kids want to feel like others and accepted and reminded daily that disabled are different? Yes, I agree with you, Matthew Drake. I mean, always remember that, that there's always people that are being reminded that they're different, that they're not like somebody else. And it's a problem. It's a situation where, what, us that are not dealing with these issues or not facing these issues, we have to remember that we affect people in adverse ways. And it's not right when we look down on people just because they're different, just because they don't speak the same or act the same or think the same. You know, yeah, no, I mean, Matthew Drink, I'm sorry that, that's the way it is. But, like I said, hopefully this live stream will try to help people to see things in a little bit different way. Hopefully, I don't get a strike for showing that video that I showed in there. But like I said, it was for educational purposes only. Other than the jokes and things that was in here, we had a little bit of fun. We did what we did. But it's all good. Once again, I'll catch you folks later. Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way because my phone is on 3%, but I have 100% in this conversation and invested into talking about different things. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we got a lot to talk about moving forward. And if there's anything else that you would like Mel to talk about, put that in the comment section below. Catch up with me in another live stream. And that's what it is. Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Yeah. Much love to you, Matthew Drake.